Hey guys, welcome to another movie review. Today I'm talking about the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movie. I will admit I was a little bit late to the whole Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. I actually saw it way later than most people did. I like the movie. I'm not a humongous fan of it. Like, I enjoy what it was, and I like the style that they went with, and it was cool to see Miles Morales in a Spider-Man movie finally. So I kind of went into this movie just kind of expecting anything. I enjoyed that first movie, but I wasn't so in love with it where I was just dying to see the new one. So in this new Across the Spider-Verse movie, you guys, basically we do follow Miles Morales after the events of the first movie. He's still attending this, private school. He has very strict parents that are trying to figure out what exactly he's doing a lot with his personal time. And all this is happening while Spider-Gwen from the first movie, who was voiced by Hailee Steinfeld, she gets an opportunity to basically dimension hop. Like, she finds out about these other spider people that are able to do it kind of whenever they need to, whenever a certain mission comes up and they have to help out other dimensions and things like that. So she uses that to basically get in touch with Miles Morales again. And so now Miles is now aware of and has the ability to dimension hop like she does. It goes and sees the other version of the different spider people in the other spider universes. And over the course of this movie, Miles finds out that being Spider Man isn't exactly the luxury life that he was hoping it would be. There's definitely some downsides, some curses, some um, things about your life that get turned upside down by becoming Spider Man. And this is something that Miles has to learn over the course of Across the Spider Verse. And he also has to learn that sometimes the people that you love the most get harmed the most by becoming this life. But overall, guys, I really enjoyed this new Spider Verse movie. I personally thought, for me personally, I don't know if everybody's going to agree, but I do like this better than the first Into the Spider Verse movie. I thought this time around the story was a little bit more concrete. They knew exactly what they wanted a little bit more. I also thought the styling was more interesting. They also explored many art styles in this movie. It's not just that comic book filter from the first movie. They actually do explore like the work of Leonardo da Vinci, and they explore anime, and they explore Bollywood productions. They explore, basically any kind of animation or cartoon style from a different country that's basically considered international art is explored in this movie in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just minor, even if it's just one of the spider people that Miles passes at one point in one scene. But they do explore several different kinds of animation styles and cartoon styles in this movie. And it's just a very visual feast for the eyes to explore and to witness. They just explore tons of different stuff. They even, without kind of saying too much, they do also kind of explore animation mixed with live action, kind of like what they did with Who Framed Roger Rabbit back in the day. Just a little bit though on that one. And yeah, it's just a really fun time. So let's go over some positives and negatives of some things that I really liked about the movie, but also some things I thought could have been improved about the movie as well. So for my positives and negatives of Across the Spider Verse, like I said, the art styles that are explored in this movie are just an animator's dream. There's just so many cool and different and unique animation styles that are explored in this movie. It's just any kind of art style you can think of, any kind of animation style you can think of, whether it's watercolor or paint or acrylic or oil color, and even just like the way you make art is explored in this movie. Just there's just so many different things in this movie that they try out. There's even just small little details like Gwen Stacy talking to her father and how the watercolor looks like it's kind of melting off the wall and stuff like that. So there's just really a bunch of really cool things that they do. I don't know if Sony just recruited like animators of all kind of shapes and forms all over the world to do this movie, because they really did a terrific job making it look very visually interesting. So for those who liked the first Into the Spider-Verse movie and how that movie looked, I think you'll like this movie even more, because not only do they explore that comic book filter again, they explore several different kind of art styles in this movie, and it's just very interesting to watch. I also thought the new 2099 Spider-Man, I believe his name is Miguel OHara, who's voiced by Oscar Isaac in this. His character was very interesting to me. It was kind of cool to see also, now that we see a bunch of different Spider-Man in this movie, that he's kind of the more serious, more darker version of Spider-Man. He's kind of the Spider-Man that didn't want to become Spider-Man kind of thing, and he also is the guy that kind of views this responsibility as a curse, that he just wanted to pursue that life he had before being bitten by the spider. And so it was just kind of cool to see that contrast of all these other Spider-Men and Spider-Women are really goofy, but Miguel OHara is kind of the one that's really dark and serious and doesn't want to really have this ability, yet he's kind of the person in charge of everybody as well. So it was cool to see that contrast. I like to see the character, and I also really liked how Oscar Isaac voiced the character as well. There was also some interesting first person shots. There's scenes where we're not supposed to know yet like what this character's perspective is. We don't know if this is a villainous character, or if this is Gwen Stacy's father, or if it's Gwen herself, or Miles Morales even. There's just a lot of scenes where the characters get thrown in really tough situations, and we see that first person shot as to how they get around in a, or navigate through a place, or get out of a place, or examine a place. And they do it in first person a lot, and it's really cool that they do it that way, because it's kind of, it doesn't immediately tell you whose perspective that is. You kind of have to figure that out as the scene plays out, and it's just really interesting to see it just, instead of just constant third person, it's actually done in a different perspective. And I thought that was just a really interesting way to present some information in some of the scenes of the movie. The film also explores all the responsibilities of being Spider-Man, and some of those responsibilities do include losing the people you love, losing friends, losing loved ones, being able to truly look out for the greater good and make sure that everybody in the city is taken care of, and that there's certain responsibilities and certain people that get taken out right away, because otherwise if they aren't, then other worse things are going to happen to both yourself and the people that you know in the city. And I like how the film explores all these different kind of responsibilities that Spider-Man has to be. Otherwise, each and every spider dimension with spider people in it will get ruined if some of these regulations aren't met. Sorry, I had a little pop up there. And I have another pop up there. Let's get rid of that. There we go. So back to the review. Basically, another positive I have with this movie is I like how the families of spider people are also explored in this movie. We get to see how Miles Morales' family is kind of taking it all in, with him not being able to make parties and make family events and stuff like that, and how, you know, that's basically impacting his life, is that he's not able to make stuff on time. He's not able to get all A's in all his classes. He's not able to be able to attend parties and get something as simple as like a cake with a certain kind of message on it for his parents. And I like how the film explores how, you know, there's things that Spider-Gwen has gone through, and there's things that Peter Parker has gone through, you know, the one that we all know from the movies and stuff. And so there's just, I like how the families are explored. It's not just about the spider people in this Spider-Verse. It's also about the wives and the parents and the children and all that stuff, and how being Spider-Man kind of has impacted that kind of life for better or worse. And so the film kind of explores that in a very interesting way, I felt. For my negatives of Across the Spider-Verse, though, the film is a little slow at times, and I do get it. You do have to have times in your screenplay where the film can just kind of die down for a little bit. It can just kind of explore life at home, life in the family, you know, small stuff that's going on at school with the characters, and I get that. I think it's crucial that you have those moments in your movie. For me personally, though, I thought some of those moments did feel a little slow. They feel like they dragged on just a little bit too long. And there's just a lot of scenes where I feel like the film could have just made its point a little bit sooner. I don't know if it's just the film just assumed we had a small attention span, and they just had to keep reminding us about certain things. But some of the times in the movie, I did feel a little slow at times, and I just thought the film could have picked up the pace a little bit better in certain moments. One thing, and this is not just this movie, I thought the first Into the Spider-Verse movie had this issue also. I really don't need an origin rundown of every single version of Spider-Man. So if we're introduced to an international Spider-Man, if we're introduced to a version of Spider-Man that clearly we've never met before, I don't need an origin rundown of every single one of them. And so unfortunately, that's something that Into the Spider-Verse carries into this movie as well. They even do it with characters that we know really well, like Miles Morales. I think he even has like 2 origin rundowns, like twice in the movie. It just feels a little redundant. It's just like, I think a lot of people that are going to go to this movie are going to know a lot about these characters already. And even for the ones that they don't know, I think there was like the Spider-Man from India, for example. There's so much context given in the scenes that are showing those characters and what they're doing. I don't think I need an origin rundown for every single one of them. And so I don't like the film's mission of giving me that origin rundown for every single one of them. I thought it felt a little redundant, and so could have done without that. And I think they really just could have focused on the ones that really needed that origin rundown, just as like the 2099 Spider-Man and things like that, the characters that are most crucial to the story. I also thought that Act 3 of the movie was a little indecisive. There's just a lot of moments like, okay, the film's going to end here. Nope, it's still going. No, it's going to end here. Nope, it's going to still going. No, it's going to end here. No, it's still going. And so there's just a lot of times where the film kind of is trying to figure out how to wrap itself up. And I know that there's that Beyond the Spider-Verse coming in 2024, but as far as this movie's concerned, this contained one story of Across the Spider-Verse is concerned, I thought they could have done a better job of kind of deciding better of how the third act's going to wrap up the whole thing. Because I know there's a lot of strings and a lot of loose ends that they got to tie up at the end of the story. But for me personally, Act 3 felt a little indecisive just because there are so many moments where it's like, okay, that's the last scene. Nope, this is the last scene. No, that's the last scene. And so there's just a lot of moments where the film itself has a hard time deciding how to wrap itself up. And overall, I thought for the family moments, I thought some of it could have used more of a moral follow-up. Because the film has so many loose ends by the third act, there's just a lot of scenes specifically with like Miles' family and Gwen Stacy's family where the film introduces ideas. It introduces the idea of, life at home and life in the family and how they're going to move on with Miles, Gwen, all of them becoming Spider-Man and stuff, how they're going to move on from all of that. And I just thought some of the moral follow-ups as far as how to take it in, what the message of the story is. Some of that I thought could have been a little bit more concrete just because there is so much going on by the end of the movie that the film kind of forgets to give us any kind of a follow-up message to some of those earlier scenes in the movie. But overall, I'm going to give Across the Spider-Verse an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a really well-done movie. Like I said, it's an animator's dream with all the art styles that are explored. 2099 Spider-Man is really, really cool. Tons of great first-person shots and so forth. Like I said, the film, though, is a little slow at times. I don't need an origin rundown for every Spider-People character. The third act is a little indecisive at times, and like I said, I could have used a moral follow-up for some of those family moments that really could have used a follow-up scene for some of the messages the film was trying to get across. So 8.5 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed this movie. If you like Spider-Man, if you're really into animation in particular, I think you're really going to really enjoy all the art styles explored in this movie. 8.5 out of 10 for me. Really enjoy the movie. I do recommend seeing Across the Spider-Verse.